Welcome to the Six Again podcast, your new destination for all things NRL. Here to bring you everything from team news to best bets are your hosts Adam Hoy and Jared Newton. Let's kick off.
Alrighty, and we're back, guys. So welcome into Six Again. This is episode 27. My name's Adam.
Oh, I'm Jared.
Again, there with the delay, Jared. So
good at it after 27 times, eh?
We think so. I still haven't got a chair that I can actually sit on comfortably for an hour and a half or an hour.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and be a bit shorter than we did last episode, but we always say that probably won't happen. We do have a fair bit to get through. We do have two guests coming on for the last section as well, two new guests that we haven't had on before, to kind of preview the Monday night blockbuster between the Bulldogs and the Dragons. We're going to go over injuries, we're going to go over judiciary, and we're going to go over some new signings and other events that have happened through the week. So again, we're recording this Wednesday night. We've got the most up-to-date list that we can get, but there will be changes through the weekend, so please keep an eye out for them. Before we get to the footy, we just want to put forward our, well, maybe not opinion, but just at least mention George Floyd's passing in the States and the movement that is going on through America and into Canada as well. We're not going to put forward any opinion on it because we're not over there, obviously. But if we could give out a message, this would be one time to maybe educate yourself on the plights of people who may have different coloured skin or from different walks of life or backgrounds. If you don't know a lot about where they come from, this would be as good a time as any to educate yourself with regards to something you may not know a lot about. And it's something that I've started doing, and I think that's one way that only good can come about it. But now moving on now to the footy. So this actually happened before our last episode, but we didn't get around to talking to it. So the new TV deal finally got announced. Jared, we talked about the speculation, but do you want to go over the actual figures that have now come out and confirmed?
I'd love to, but you've got them in front of you and I don't.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll go with that. So we went over, obviously, like all the to and fro that Channel 9 was doing. Fox Sports was pretty keen the whole way through. So Fox has extended their deal for an extra 5 years. That's been confirmed. So that's through to the end of 2027. And Channel 9 has not extended their current deal. So theirs will run to its final year in 2022. Now, the combined money share between those two deals runs to $2.3 billion. Hopefully that means that there will be an increase in the salary cap. Probably not next year, but maybe the year after, with regards to us losing crowds this year. And we'll come back to kind of what that means for the international rugby league game after we talk about our next point. But it's good to have some clarity, at least for the next 2 seasons on free to air. And if you're a pay TV customer, it's good to know that you'll be getting games through to 2027. And my understanding is Fox will keep their 8 games. Channel 9 will keep the State of Origin rights and Grand Final rights. Thoughts, Jared?
I've said it before. I don't know if Channel 9 are really doing the right thing here. But they've still got 2 years to renegotiate the State of Origin stuff. So I think the biggest advantage we've got is Peter V'landys right now. So if he's at the table, he's proven that what he says genuinely is going to work. So if he tells Channel 9 to stuff it, or he tells Channel 9, we're going to need you for another however long, because he will hold Origin over their head. That's the biggest thing, Origin.
Yeah.
And possibly the Grand Final, but I feel like Origin will be quite a little bit bigger. So if he tells them, if you don't do this within this time period, and they don't, they try and dig their heels in, he, by the sounds of it, won't have a problem ringing up Channel 7 boss and going, "Oh, you want it?" Pretty much.
He definitely won't have a problem because I think that's one of the benefits of him coming in outside of rugby league.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about any agendas that we hear beforehand. He doesn't care about the old boys club, who likes who deals with who. He's already shown that he can piss off Nick Politis and not care. So if you piss off Nick Politis and not caring, you can piss off anyone without caring.
I see him as a person who is not going to take anyone's shit. No. And especially from a broadcaster where he's delivering the product, no matter how much money they're getting it, they wouldn't be doing it unless they benefited from it.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's got that over their head. So
he kind of reminds me of he's like the Kerry Packer for rugby league.
Oh.
And this could just be the start, but he has, again, we've talked about it before, he's made it clear he's not here for the long run. He's here till the stuff that he believes needs to get done. And it's just popped into my head about expansion comments he made this week. That might be something we'll save for Sunday's episode. Yeah. Look at the expansion talk, and then also the talk of suburban grounds getting upgrades over ANZ. Yeah. So that could be something cool to talk about. Yeah, and we'll see going from there. It kind of leads us into our next point. John Grant, who's on I think he had a hand in previous ARL commissioner, has a hand in the Project Apollo, but he's also on the International Rugby League board, and he's come out this week saying that they're finally looking at aligning the rules between NRL, Super League, and International Rugby League, which seems like it should already be occurring, but it doesn't. The NRL and Super League do have the same base set of rules, but with slight differences.
Which is weird because me and Adam were talking about this, and Adam went through a rundown of some of the rules that ESL have over NRL, which I don't like a couple, but it depends on the person really, especially the free play after a knock-on. But I wonder how much yes and no to and froing what's going to go there. So is NRL going to go, I want all my rules and you guys aren't getting anything because we're the powerhouse? Or is there going to be, we'll give you that rule, but you have to have this rule kind of thing? I don't know.
I think it'll all come. I think one big thing will be coming down to while the NRL's playing, Super League's going to be watching. And we know that there's people in the UK and the US. I don't even know why I brought up the US. People in the UK watching. If they see the rules working and the NRL controlled police the rules working, I don't know how much of a to and fro there's actually going to be. And I really think this 6 again rule is going to suit the Super League style of play.
Oh, a lot more, because they're a lot more free-flowing. They always have been.
And that's why I think that knock-on free play rule works there.
One of your arguments against the game was touch, that it was touch. That'll make it touch. They'll just make it, okay, we'll run 50 metres, get tackled, then we have to toddle back to where it started and go again.
Yeah.
That's crap. That happened in the game on the weekend.
They only walked the whole way back. Oh, we're talking about the knock-on free play rule, yeah? Yeah. It only gets brought all the way back if they stuff up at the end of it. If it all works out, you play on from there.
No, I still don't like it.
Nah. Only other rules that I could think of is they've just kept the one ref. Did I mention another one before? I can't even remember. I think that's we've got the 2040 rule. Oh, 2040 rule.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Which no one's hasn't used yet.
But I'm guessing they don't have the positioning of scrums.
No, so that again, that'd be something I don't see there being a lot of.
Yeah.
Why not use that? That was kind of cool, but also Grant said we're going to start talking about the 6 again rule at international level after 1 week of trialing in the NRL. I could see that saying, that's a cool idea. We'll think about it in 5, 6, 7, halfway through the season sort of time.
Can you admit you were wrong about that, please? Or are you still standing by? No? You still liking it?
No. I said at the start after the first 2 games, I could see the first 2 games highlighted the issue that it could cause. if we're seeing 6 games around like that consistently, I think it needs to be looked at. If it's 1 or 2 games kind of a round like it did this week, and as the players get used to it, that'll happen less, then it's sweet.
Okay.
I was just thought,
so in a month's time, you're going to have to say I was wrong?
Yeah, in a month's time, I'll say I was wrong. I'm cool with that. Because if I'm saying I'm wrong, it means the game's better because of a rule change. I was just a bit cautious with regards to when a rule change comes in. It can change an aspect of a game, but not to a point where it's. That's why I think we both agree on the 7 tackle set. If you stuff up, if you knock on while trying to score a try, I think we're both in agreement. The defense shouldn't get 7 tackles when the attacking team's been in a try scoring situation. If you kick it dead from 40 meters out, then it's a crap kick. That's what it was brought in for. But if you put a bomb up, it's a 1-on-1 contest and your attacker knocks it on while trying to score a try. You shouldn't get penalised for trying to score a try. I don't like that. But anyway, the other thing to come out of the IRL is they're starting to look at aligning the NRL and the Super League season so they're on at the same time to open up an international window instead of like the... I was having mind blank. What's the
World Club Challenge?
World Club Challenge.
World Club Challenge.
Yeah.
That gets paid in the 3rd round of English Super League.
Which after our season's finished. So it's
to be honest, I think this is for the World Club Challenge. I think it's more of a detriment to English Super League if that rule comes through. Like I said it when the World Club Challenge happens this year. Imagine the Roosters playing. Oh, actually, we're in round 3 now. So imagine the Roosters playing next week against a superstar English side who hasn't even had their preseason, who only just finished their preseason.
Yeah.
Roosters would kill them.
Yes. Yes, they most certainly would, yeah. So I think it's... I have a feeling by aligning the Super League to ours, because it's not going to happen the other way. You're not going to be playing rugby league in the middle of our summer. I have a feeling that it lessens the carryover of the Premier League season. I will double check that because when I said it before, I actually started thinking, I said, I don't know how much of a difference. I'll look into that, but that could be a consideration. So I think for the International Rugby League, those are both win-wins. Now, talking about an international window, one thing linking back to that TV deal, the only international matches that new TV deal covers is bilateral matches. So Australia versus one other country. They're the only international matches that Channel 9 or Fox will have the rights to. Now, with regards to Tri Nations, Oceania Cup, World Cup, World Cup Nines, those games and tournaments will still be up for grabs for TV deals. So I think that might have been something that the NRL may have had to let go of during these negotiations, maybe. That's not really going to make a difference this year with international games and the Kangaroos tour being cancelled, but something to keep an eye out down the track. What else we got? Signings.
Oh, so Moses Sully turned his back on Dragons after all the shit they've been doing and re-signed with Manly.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, that's if he keeps fit. Adam, be excited if he can do it for the next 10 years.
Yeah, Des Hasler as coach, man. He's still fitter than half the squad.
He's already been fired once from Manly, mate. He's up.
He has. Hasler, yeah, Hasler. I thought you meant Sully. But Sully, quote, Manly forever, end quote.
He said that about... Didn't he say that about Bulldogs?
No,
Tigers?
He didn't.
Where else did he get fired
I have
from?
no idea.
Didn't he play for a team for 3 days before?
Yeah, Tigers and Bulldogs, but I don't believe him saying
because didn't
Bulldogs
he get caught
forever.
sleeping in the car?
Yes. Hey, I slept in the car.
Not before. Well, maybe before C grade. Maybe before C grade, we had some rough times. But,
that's where I got recruited for C grade out of a car. You'll be right.
And you're a star.
But I did love that.
And then
I was going to say, still, Dragons offered him, a 4-year deal worth 3-point-something mil? So about 800K a year. And still he re-signed for the Sea Eagles for 1.6. 2 years for 1.6, I'm going to say.
Yeah, okay. So if they scored...
Half the time, yeah.
If Dragons scored a try on the weekend, I reckon we would have seen Sully in a Dragons jersey.
Come on.
And then who did Cowboys sign? Shane Wright. Kyle Felt.
Yeah.
So you got a pretty decent young back rower there coming through, who's going to learn off Tamalolo for the rest of his carear.
Well, he did a 1-year extension.
Okay, but you know what I mean. Like he's only young, so he's got a decent career ahead of him for what I've seen of him. And then you sign Kyle Felt, which there's no real explanation needed of what Kyle Felt brings to a team. Great finisher, try scorer, pretty safe defensively under the high ball. So
he's only 4 tries away from their third leading try scorer already.
He'll play for Queensland for a few more years, I reckon.
Yep.
He might struggle to make the New South Wales team unless there's an injury because they've got it. Sorry, not the New South Wales, the Australian
team. Yeah.
Because the New South Wales players, they've pretty well got a monopoly on the outside backs now.
Yeah.
It's kind of changed over for the last 10 years.
That's what Origin does.
Yeah. So like early 2000s, New South Wales was strong, and then for 14 years in a row, Queensland was strong, and then now I don't know how long this New South Wales thing's going to last, but
Queensland won one Origin series while I was in high school, so that was pretty bad.
I was in grade 7, and New South Wales won 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you remember me. You remember me at that age. You reckon I didn't run my mouth?
Oh yeah, more than you do now. Jesus. I just want to jump on. I said 4 years for $3 million that Dragons offered. It was 3 years for $2 million. I knew it was a number less than the years. So, but he signed a shorter deal for less money to stay at Manly, which
also like $650 a year.
Yeah, it's still pretty good money. So he's not complaining. John Bateman, it's come out that Wigan, his old clubs offered him $3.5 million. To come back. I believe that might have been the one over 4 years. His daughter's still over in the UK.
Yeah.
Things seem to be turning sour pretty quick with him in Canterbury. I don't know.
There is some other signing news that I'd like to bring up.
What'd I miss?
Okay, so during COVID-19, anyone who's signed a contract with another club, it wasn't actually officially done by the NRL.
Mm-hmm.
So the NRL's got to do their salary cap stuff. As of 1 o'clock this afternoon, the NRL has officially signed off on Tyson Frizzell going to Newcastle next year.
Oh, there you go. That's a formidable back row.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll talk about it later. But Adam we were on the phone this morning. He was looking at the Newcastle team. Even Adam, I know I pump it up a lot, but even Adam said that Newcastle's back row is pretty good considering Barnett and Fitzgibbon won't be there for a while.
For a Manly fan to compliment anything about Newcastle takes a lot of time.
Get over 97. It's done.
No. Lucky pass. Anyway.
Immortal.
How'd your tips go last week or this week?
I think I got 6 out of 8.
All right, let's move on. I didn't do well in tips, and I definitely didn't do well in bets. So my bet about South Sydney. Hey, your brother did the same thing. He rang me up he messaged me this morning saying bets for this week. America's opened up betting on the NRL because there's nothing else to bet on. He's been betting on Turkish table tennis matches.
Well, he's got to stop betting. He's got a wedding and a house to buy.
That's true. So I rang him up and said, "Are you sure you want to take my bets?" I had $5 on Brandon Smith being last try scorer at $40-something, and that didn't work. And I took Rabbitohs at $4.50, which I thought was a pretty half smart bet. 1 to 12, 1 to 13.
They were horrible.
A lot of people, yeah, they were, but leading up to it, they looked like they had a chance to pressure the Roosters are under. What about Supercoach?
I didn't even look this week.
Oh,
How many points did you get?
1,200.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. So I'm leading our comp, mates comp, and tie first in the public comps. I'm pretty happy. Just remember, Tamalolo's out this week, so if you have him as captain, put him on your bench, and remember to unselect him. All right, so that's like the little bits of information around the league. We'll cover judiciary quickly, injuries, and then we'll get into teams, so we don't double dip on the injuries. So we already knew Asafa Solomona, Katoni Sags, and Ignatius Parsi were all going to miss a week after taking their pleas. The only person who went to judiciary was Victor Radley. He got off his tackle charge, so he will be free to play. So there's only 3 players missing through suspension. All right, Jesus, injuries. Let's go.
Oh, can you just name them and don't go over what's wrong with them? Because there's just too many.
Russell Packer is available. First time since round 6 last year. Sean Blore is back in full training this week, so we may see him soon. Jacob Little making solid progress from ACL. Jazz Tavega. He's not coming back. So, take this one. Jazz Tavega has picked up a soft tissue injury at training. That's after he's come back from ankle surgery, which he got over, which led to a knee problem, which has led to a soft tissue injury. So, my advice there, follow NRL Physio on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. There's some awesome stuff, and they go into depth with how injuries occur. Lachlan Bird did not pass his HIA during the week, so he's not available for the Warriors. Ignatius Parsi is suspended anyway. He didn't pass his HIA anyway. Adam Clune suffered a broken nose in St George training this week. He's still listed to play. Ryan Sutton has 1 more game out before he comes back from a minor calf complaint. No update on John Bateman. Connor Watson, 6 to 8 weeks with syndesmosis and still likely for surgery, waiting on a second opinion. Yeah. So that's a bit of a blow.
If anyone saw that put me in pain.
Yeah, it didn't look good. Did not look good. Jason Tamalolo out at least 1 week with bone bruising.
Well, he does hold the whole Cowboys team up, so it's about time he went down.
But bone bruising's funny. Like, for anyone who has had one, you know how much it bloody hurts, and it can take longer than a week to get over, especially for someone carrying that much weight.
But he'd be in everything. He'd be in the cryo bath.
Yes, that's true.
He'd be doing everything for it. That would get NASA to help him, like get the highest.
Yeah. Like, wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
It was mentioned. It was stated earlier in the week. Jake Turpin was named but in doubt. But then update information. Jared hit us up this afternoon. Out till a minimum of round 7 with a broken tibia. Was it?
Yeah.
Depending on whether it's a full fracture or a minor one, that's going to depend on. That will determine surgery or not. But at the moment, minimum of round 7, which is still only 3 weeks. I'm assuming it's going to be longer than that.
Tell you what, Corey Pax, considering they got rid of McCulloch, he's in the hot seat too, isn't he? Poor bastard.
Alex Glenn, last 1/2 as Broncos captain, leg cut out till round 6. So yeah, missing this week and next. Chad Townsend, hamstring out till next week minimum. Andrew Fafita, knee and calf out till round 5 minimum. Anthony Don, round 5 minimum, hamstring. Lachlan Fitzgibbon, hamstring, going to miss another week. And Peter Hiku, ribs, round 5, more than likely, will be round 6. It's a lot of injuries after 1 week and some that were already out there anyway. But that's a fair bit to get your head around. So keep checking through the weekend before your team plays, and things are happening pretty quick now that we're back in the swing of things. So we're going to jump into games now. Yeah, Jared, I've talked enough. You take us away.
Okay, so Broncos versus Roosters. I think we both know, and everyone else knows who we're tipping here. I actually was talking to a Broncos supporter today. He reckons Broncos are going to come out pissed off, and there's a chance they could win. So
was it Patrick Carrigan? Because he said the Roosters forwards are not going to get a free pass.
Over that forward pack.
Oh, wait on. The Broncos back row have a combined 5 games between them.
Okay, so Broncos are running out with Payne Haas and Flegler in the front row, which is a pretty versatile front row.
You're always
Pretty
starting a weird spot. All right.
Corey Pax, we mentioned it before, he's in the hot seat now. He was going into this season their third choice hooker. Now he's going to be there.
Is he an out-and-out hooker?
I think so. And he's supposed to be.
I'll have a look.
I don't want to say I can't compare him to this guy, but they reckon he's a Chris Randall kind of guy. A guy who's going to make a million tackles.
All right.
And yeah, I'm not sure about him too much.
He's listed as a halfback.
Is he? Oh shit. Well, there you go. Jamil Hopewade and Ethan Bullimore and Pat Carrigan in the back row. Then you got Brodie Croft, you got Milford, and then you got Boyd. They brought in Jesse Arthurs into the centres. And then Corey Oates and Herbie Farnsworth to go on the wings. And then you
Little
got
pommy fella.
It's the pommiest name you ever hear, isn't it? Herbie Farnsworth.
Herbie Farnsworth.
And then you got Tessie New. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Tessie New. So they reckon he has been one of the best trainers since he was 13 years old at the Broncos system.
Who was he compared to in the week?
Darren Lockyer.
That's right. All right.
Yeah.
No
and then you got, which is very surprising, you got Offa Hengawi, Kennedy and Lodge. So you got a lot of experience coming off that bench.
I'm not surprised Lodge is on there.
Well, so maybe Seabold's relying on the what's the tried and not the tried and true thing, but the theory that maybe his bench can come up and dominate after 20 minutes or so. Because he's got a lot of experience, especially with Offa Hengawi. He was in line to be captain not long ago.
So they've got Tessie New listed as a centre.
Okay.
So
and then you got Xavier Coates and Thomas Dearden as the last two. Okay, so
the
reserves. All right, since Takiaho is out, they've actually brought in Lindsay Collins to the front row for the Roosters.
Takiaho is definitely out.
Yep, he's named at number 18. So who played front row for him last week?
No, he wasn't in last week. I think he's got a chance to come back this week. That's why I didn't list him on the injuries.
Okay, so
he was on the reserves last week, but he got ruled out pretty quickly.
Yeah, who was the Roosters front row? Oh, Collins started last week. Okay.
No, I thought it was Collins. Isaac Liu, didn't he?
Nah, Collins started last week.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Collins, he's going to be their front row for a long time. He's a pretty decent player. He's got some good leg speed and he's really fit. So I rate him. And then you got Jake Friend, obviously, Jared Barrett-Hargraves, Crichton, Cordner, Radley. That's a hell of a forward pack.
Mm-hmm.
Broncos are going to rely on experience coming off the bench. That young forward pack is going to deal with whatever's that whole thing coming at them. Then you got Flanagan, Keary, Manu, Morris, Tupou, Morris, Tedesco. So
unchanged.
Oh, yeah. And then you got Verrills, Liu, Butcher and Tupanua, and you got Takiaho and Ryan Hall as their bench too. So
and Mitch Orbison, who you'd expect to probably come in because it was a family thing for him last week. He's not injured.
Probably maybe for Butcher or Tupanua.
I think it'd be Tupanua. Butcher's so that'll give you 2 second rows at prop.
I don't see Broncos stand a chance. The way Roosters combined last week together with the new rule and with Tedesco playing the way he is, Jesus Christ. Okay, do you reckon Broncos are up?
I think I've put Tedesco as captain this week on my super coach, even over Payne Haas. I just, considering how good Tedesco looked last week and then against a defense that got rolled by Para last week and missing Katoni Staggs, Jake Turpin, David Fafita, Tavita Pangai, Alex Glenn.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, if the Broncos pull this off, that will be one of the biggest kids against men stories.
Yeah, that's right. It'd be awesome.
They can only learn from it regardless of what happens, but whoo boy.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to hit the Panthers Warriors team up?
Cool. Yeah, we're both going Roosters. All right. Penny Panthers coming off that 14-all draw with the Knights last week. So we've got Caleb Aikens at fullback, Mansour and Brian To'o on the wings. Stephen Crichton is starting centre with Barre.
He deserved that spot.
He looks like an athlete, that kid. Matt Burton, Jerome Luai get the start in the halves again. James Tamo, Coruscant, James Fisher-Harris, who was a beast last week. Viliami Kikau, Kurt Catewell, who looked awesome on debut for Penrith. Not his debut, but debut for the club. And Isaiah Yeo, again, who was really good last week. Mitch Kenny, Zane Tedavano, Moses Leota, and Liam Martin is back in. Tedavano wasn't there last week, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. He actually he was really good at the Roosters, maybe because it was the Roosters. I don't know, but
that's one of the casualties of salary cap.
He was reasonably average last week, considering the experience. He's won 2 grand finals. Considering the experience he could have brought to that game, but
yeah. In the reserves, Brent Naden, who was their starting centre previously. Billy Burns is there. Jack Hetherington and Charlie Staines. I don't see any of them coming in. I think they're pretty set there. They're up against. Sorry, you go.
They're going to love Liam Martin coming back.
Being back.
I think they missed him last week just for that aggression they probably needed. But
because there's some skill in those forwards. There's not a lot of aggression outside of Fisher Harris. Even though Kikau's a big, strong runner, he's very similar to Tamalolo. They don't really rely on their aggression. All right, Warriors, again with outs this week, but we'll see how they go. Tuivasa Sheck at fullback with Herbert and Mamalo on the wings. Carl Lawton and Gerard Beale in the centres. Fusatua is still in, I was about to say hibernation, bloody hell, isolation. So he won't be back next week 6. Nick Arima, who looked good last week, with Blake Green in the halves. Jermaine Tanua-Brown, who's just continuing to make a name for himself at prop with Adam Blair, who shifted from lock to prop this week to cover the loss of Lachlan Burr. Wade Egan at hooker. Alisi Katoa, who, what's this? Like his 6th first grade game? It's nuts. Toru Harris and Papali'i at lock.
I don't mind that change. I reckon Papali'i is more of a lock than he's a second roller, so that's decent.
That's good. So you've got Jack Murchie has worked his way under the bench, so signing from Canberra. Puasa Famamasuli, who is on a 1-month loan from the Roosters. He'll be making his debut. King Vuniyayawa. I love that. And Josh Curran on the interchange.
Okay, they brought Josh Curran in.
Is that just 4? That's 4 forwards, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's really different to what everyone else is going for.
Yeah, that's a big forward pack. Also mobile. I actually, considering how many players they've got out, I like the look of sections of that team. Like, they're obviously missing Fusatua and some strike out wide, but
they got a good. I like the fact that Blair's not on the edge, and I like that Blair's just going to be playing his prop game now.
I think this might actually force him to up his game.
Yeah.
With reserves, I don't see any of them coming in. Hayes, Darren Pompey, Vulu.
With Penrith, I imagine one of those halves are going to play for their spot for next week, considering Cleary's coming back. So
after last week, Matt Burton will be staying there.
Yeah, my bet is the fact that Luai decided to go high down the wing for a part of it. I'm surprised he even made this squad, considering how badly they played. So this game is kind of like the surprise package game, because Warriors surprised everyone with the quality of play they played last week. And I don't want to too mean on Penrith again, but they surprised everyone for being not that great last week. Like, they should have done better. But yeah, so I won't harp too much. I talk about Newcastle enough in this fucking thing.
I'm going
Warriors.
So am I, actually.
Yeah. If they get their completion rate down and really get a good defender on kick out. See, Penrith's
Did you say get their completion rate?
Get the same completion rate as last week.
46 out of 48. Don't think anyone's going to do that again.
Well, if they can do it, if they keep it, between 85 to 100%, they're going to go a long way to winning this game. If they can just lock down Panthers' left hand side because Crichton there, so they can just knock that down. I think that's a lot of attack going out of the Penrith Panthers. So,
alrighty, one of the Storm Rabbits, so the big one on Friday night, both coming off losses.
Yes.
Jared.
Okay, so Kristen Welch starts, which I don't mind. Then you got Cam Smith and Jesse Bromwich, Kenny Bromwich and Felice Kafusi with Dale Finucane at lock. And then you got Jerome Hughes, Cam Munster, Murray and Seb, Justin Olam, Vunivalu, Adokar and Packenhausen.
Unchanged backline.
Yeah, so I'm surprised by that. I didn't think we both said that we didn't think Bellamy would tolerate a loss like that and keep the same team. He has brought, I will say.
I didn't say that. You said that.
No, well,
I'm not surprised he hasn't changed. He's not going to change him after a week. Loss.
And his bench has changed. He's actually brought on Riley Jacks onto the bench.
Yeah, that's a forced change because Welch had to go in for Solomona, who's suspended. And he brought in a utility back instead of bringing in.
Well, he's got Brandon Smith. He's already got a utility there. So
a utility back. I think if
he's
Jerome
not a utility back. He's a halfback.
Riley. Sorry. That's if maybe Jerome Hughes has a poor first half.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a late change. Jacks goes to halfback and maybe a Ford might come on. I doubt they're going to bring Brenko Lee on.
No, it's not. And who's the other one? For Kimi Kamika is still out. Injured.
Yeah. So they've got Smith, Fasamelele, the Gold Coast Titanbound boy, Riley Jacks, and Max King. And then the last four are Brenko Lee, Albert Vete, Darren Shuing, and what Lewis is that? Chris Lewis.
Still no Momorowski.
Yeah, which is we both said we think he'd at least be in the 21. But
maybe Bellamy's called a Swiftie.
Yeah. South Sydney.
Same backline.
Burgess, Cook, Totola, Murray, Sewer, and Knight in the forward pack. There is rumours going around that Murray is going to go to lock because that is needed. Then you got Dargan's get another go.
And Walker's still suspended.
Yeah, Reynolds, Dargan. Then you got Braden Burns, Adam's favourite player in the whole comp. Campbell Graham, Dane Gagai, and Alex Johnson with Latrell Mitchell at fullback.
There's been rumours that he's playing centre, but they've also been going for almost 6 months.
I'll put money on the fact Murray's going to go to lock. Okay.
There you go. Your brother's looking for a bet. I have nothing against Braden Burns. I just think there are more talented players who can play his position.
Then you got Darren Nichols at 14 with Ethan Lowe, Bailey Sirenen, and Patrick Margot.
And by Darren Nichols, he means Mark Nichols.
Where did I get Darren Nichols from?
I don't know. No idea.
Darren Nichols?
No.
Then you got Bryson Goodwin. Is that Tom Amoni?
Yeah, he was on the bench last week, and Margot's come in for him.
Oh, there's a sneaky James Roberts in there too.
Well, he was named on the reserves last week, but no one ever didn't think he was going to play.
Okay, so he might sneak in there to make a bit of a change. I don't know. I don't know who he drop. They might drop.
It'll be Burns. It'll be Burns or Johnson.
I don't think they're going to drop Johnson just because Mitchell needs that backup.
Well, then it'll just be Burns. He'll go straight into 4.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm tipping Melbourne to get pissed off because they lost last week and just run roughshod all over them, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. And considering how invisible Adam Reynolds was last week and against a big name opposition, I don't know what he's going to do this week. Okay, I think we're both taking Storm in that one.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm biased, but to me, the next one's the biggest match of the round.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. So You've got the rivals Parramatta and Seagulls both coming off big wins, but in completely different circumstances. This is going to be a pretty decent game. Tafua's already come out and said he's not going to get pulled into Ferguson's gibberish.
Which I'm very surprised about, because I've heard Ferguson talk on Talks interviews. He sounds like an idiot. So I don't know how anyone can take it seriously.
Well, Tafua said, I don't even think his teammates listen to him, so I'll just zone him out. And you don't really get much reaction out of Tafua. He kind of looks asleep half the time. That must be a Manly winger thing, because Michael Robinson was like that as well, remember? Yeah. Anyway, so backs, Parramatta, Clint Gutherson at fullback, Sevo and Ferguson on the wings with Michael Jennings, Wanga Blake in the centres, Dylan Brown, Mitch Moses in the halves, so no changes there. Regan Campbell, Gillard, Junior Paulo starting props with Reid Marnie as hooker, Sean Lane, Ryan Madison, Murata Nakora at lock. Again, no changes there. Interchange, Takarangi, Ray Stone, Kane Evans, Penny Terapo. No changes there. So I'm not going to mention the reserves because I don't think any of them are going to come in after last week. I think it's the first time I've ever seen this. I might not even... Yeah, I'll come back to that. Tom Trbojevic at fullback for Manly with George Tafua, Ruben Garrick on the wings. He has not been dropped considering how poor his conversions were last week. Brad Parker and Moses Sully in the centres. Dylan Walker, Cherry Evans in the halves. Fanua Blake to power starting props with Danny Levi at hooker. Joel Thompson, Sirinen, and Jake Trbojevic. And Trbojevic came out this week, Jake that is, stating that in his opinion, Tedesco is the number one fullback in the game.
He was being honest.
Yeah, I know. I loved it. And he also said that we gave stick to Garrick in the sheds afterwards about how poor his kicking is and that he's been downgraded from an open kicking licence to P's until further notice. So he said it with a really straight face, which is kind of odd for Jake Trbojevic. Lachlan Croker, Corey Waddell, Sean Kepi and Taniela Paseka on the bench, who all played pretty well last week except for Taniela Paseka. Again, I don't see anyone coming off the bench for Manly. And I think this is the first time ever I've seen two teams completely unchanged from the week before. Thoughts?
This is going to be a cracker game, considering how they both played.
Yeah. Last time they played, Eels towed up Manly 32-16. So Tafua said, we've been circling this game. We're looking forward to it. So that's good to hear.
I probably rate minus. Oh, okay. So Parramatta's spine's real young and really talented. But you got Cher on the other side. You got Cherry Evans. You got the experience of Cherry Evans. You got Trbojevic. If they can fire, I don't see Parramatta coming back from that. But if they can shut down those two, they probably stand a chance. I'm going Manly, but it's going to be a close one.
You're going Manly?
Yeah, I'm going Manly. Parramatta towed up, Broncos last week? Broncos were not what they usually are with their 4-pack and stuff. And Manly, I will admit Manly towed up Bulldogs, which Bulldogs aren't an NRL team currently. But, so I see Manly beating them, but I see it as a close game.
All right. I'm obviously going to go Manly because they're my boys and Eels have beaten us 8 out of the last 10 games, so it'd be nice to get one back. That's 4 games done and dusted, yeah?
Yep.
All right, we'll put a break in it there and we'll come back for the second half. Okay, welcome back to the second half, guys. We've got 3 more games, then we're going to bring our guests on. So Jared's given me the task of going through the Cowboys Sharks game so he can talk about his beloved Newey. So this is up at Townsville. Cowboys coming off a big win against the Titans and Sharks, 0-3. Their season's slipping away pretty quick. So we got Valentine Holmes at fullback, first game against his past club, so he'll be up for this one. Cole Felt, Ben Hampton on the wings, Justin O'Neill, SN Masters in the centres. Masters didn't have a great game last week, so it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back.
He is on and off, but he can be, when he's on, he's on.
Oh, yeah. So Scott Drinkwater, who is looking better and better. Jake Clifford in the halves, who had quite a solid game. Francis Molo, Jordan McLean at starting props with Jake Granville. Mitch Dunn gets another run in second row with Cohen Hess and Josh Maguire at lock. So there's been a change there. Maguire was starting prop last week. Oh, Francis Molo has jumped from the bench to starting, and I think he deserves that. He played pretty well last week.
He's been pretty consistent over a long period of time too, so yeah.
And I like Maguire at locking up that middle. Reece Robson, who was a super sub last week, coming on against the tiring Titans. John Asiata and Tom Gilbert. Jared gets his wish. I believe this will be his... Is it his debut? First game? Yeah, debut. And Gavin Cooper back in the 17 after missing last week.
He is a Nathan Brown in the mould, so... Watch out for fireworks with him. He's really good.
So obviously the big out for the Cowboys is Tamalolo, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the forwards stand up and how they get the go forward. The only thing in their favour, I guess, is the Sharks are missing Fafita, their kind of version on the other side. So Will Kennedy is at fullback, Sione Katoa and Ronaldo Mulatalo on the wings with Dugan and Jesse Ramian in the centres. Matt Moylan gets the start at 5'8", with Townsend out, Sean Johnson at halfback. Toby Rudolph gets a starting role at prop.
He started last week too.
Did he? He was named on the bench, so did he start the game?
But he's a late starter, yeah.
Okay. All right, so it's official this week. Blake Brayley, Aaron Woods, Brighton Nakora, Wade Graham in the back row, and Jack Williams at lock, with Connor Tracy, Emanuele, COC for Talakai, and Scott Sorensen on the bench. So, am I missing one there? Or no, it's just Townsend out. Magoulas was in the reserves last week. He didn't.
Yeah, he didn't, but that other guy got ahead of him. Wow.
Yeah, okay. Talakai. So, interesting. Like, what Cowboys are sitting at 2-1. Sharks are at 0-3. So both teams have got a lot to play for here. Obviously, if Cowboys can go up 3-1 against one of the other teams who people had around similar-ish position predictions, it'll go a long way to making, the Sharks looking, what do we say? Looking at 11 wins to get in. They lose this one, they're down 0-4 with 16 to go. It means they'd have to go on a bit of a tear.
I think Cowboys will win, but Sharks can pull this out. Yeah, they've got the team for it, and it's just how they rock up on the day. So with all the shit that's gone on with them, with the hesitation about their backs and stuff like that, I think this all comes down to Moylan, because Moylan's a super talent when he wants to be. He's got to get over his hammy issues. But yeah, so
Jesus,
I do think Cowboys will win this, but don't be surprised if Sharks pull something out of here.
Yeah, all right, I'm going with you on that one. Cowboys there with both teams, big outs on both sides. All right, I think I said this already last week. I'm actually kind of looking forward to watching this game.
So
4 o'clock Sunday game.
Yeah, okay. So Canberra start Adams way. You got Nickel Clockstead at fullback, and then you got Nick Kotrick and Bailey Simonson coming back on the wing. So I actually like that because he earned his spot, spent a whole preseason there, doesn't do anything wrong with the first 2 games, gets injured. Everyone kind of saw that and went, oh, damn, he's going to lose his spot to Rapana. But Ricky Stewart turned around and went, you know what, Rapana, you left. I'm going to put him back there. He's earned his spot. So I really like that.
I'm cool with it.
Good. Then you got Croker and Scott, Whiten and Williams. It's a formidable back line. Pretty good. It'd be, I don't think Scott's learned his best combination yet, but that's just going to get better.
I really I didn't like how he acted during the game last week.
He was an idiot playing his own against his old team.
He just seems so arrogant, like he.
Yeah,
Yeah. You'd have to say everything he learned from the Storm, and I didn't like how he went on with it.
Yeah,
considering he didn't have the best game.
Their forward pack's pretty bloody good. You got Horsburgh at lock, Whitehead and Tapani in second row. Then you got Dunamis Louis, Josh Hodgson, and Papali in the front row. And then the bench, you've got Havili, Emre Gula, Sia Soliola, and they put Jordan Rapana at 17.
Not the worst person to bring on, eh?
Yeah, no, but I don't understand. Someone's got to explain to me why they're putting outside backs on this bench. It's not like one team's doing it. I think Stewart started it last year.
Yeah.
But I don't see it, but everyone's doing it.
Okay, I'm going to throw this out there. There's not many teams who could do this in the comp, but I think Canberra is one of them. Because of their forward depth, you've got players like Soliola who can play edge, lock, or prop. Horsburgh is another one who can do that. You got Tarpany who can play edge. But what I'm thinking is they're going to bring Rapana on as a forward and just let him roam wherever the hell he wants to go. And they'll just tighten up the middle with their six. With their five, whoever's there.
It's so strange to me, but it seems to be a trend now, which I understand where you're getting at, but
I don't think every team could do that, though. I think most other teams who have a utility back are there for cover or because their team's not playing well and they're looking for combinations, whereas Canberra's
Rapana's a legitimate winger. It's just...
yeah.
But, and then they got Tom Starling, Matt Frawley, Kai O'Donnell, and Michael Oldfield.
Yeah, I don't see any of them going. Well, it's been Oldfield kind of playing that role if needed, and Rapana's there. Can you imagine him running through the middle on one side of Hodgson and clock sat on the other side of Hodgson? So I don't know. Stewart's going to have something up his sleeve. I don't think he's just going to be there as a cover player. I reckon he...
Well, it happened all last year too, and they got to the grand final, so I'm not complaining about it. It's weird for me, but
it's still,
I can't question Stewart. He's won 3 premierships. Okay, so big in for Newcastle. Kalen Ponga's back from his shoulder charge suspension. Heimel Hunt and Edric Lee on the wings, and you got quickly becoming one of my favourite players, Bradman Best.
I had never seen him before, and he is massive.
Yeah. He's not tall. He's he's 19 or something.
He reminds me of Addison Demetriou, who never made it to the NRL but was in the Manly under-20s. Just looks like a... Oh, jeez. I don't know.
Look, I reckon Mansour saw him last week and went, holy shit. Mansour's a built winger, and he saw Bradman Best and went, Mansour 2.0 or something. He's just a... And he's only going to get bigger too. He's got to... The problem is, if he gets bigger, he might lose a bit of speed. So if Newcastle can keep on top of that, we'll see how we go. Then you got Kurt Mann and Mitch Pearce in the halves, which, even as a Newcastle fan, I'm very surprised Mitchell Pearce is there. Just because how he was knocked out last week, I'm surprised he passed the protocol.
He looks sick.
Yeah, he was hot. I know at the end of the game, he looked pretty good, and supposedly... Legend has it. He gave a really good speech at half.
Legend has it.
You
guys are playing so good. Exactly. Actually, no, we're not. We're down. We're going to lose, but we'll win.
He looked pretty.
Pretty. Oh.
No, he looked damn pretty. No, he looked pretty aware at the end of the game during that because they kept going back to him on the cameras.
That's true.
Considering I think you said a Melbourne player couldn't play anymore because of HIA. I'm surprised Pearce is there for how bad it actually looked. And then you got SASA at lock, Matauti and Guerra in the second row, Safidi and Clemmer in the front row with club debut Andrew McCulloch coming down at hooker. And then you got Tex Hoy getting this spot.
It's making Hoy watch a lot easier.
Daniel Safidi, Tim Glasby, and Brodie Jones. So Adam wanted me to give a bit of a rundown on Brodie Jones.
I love how Chris Randall's gone to reserves after making 71 tackles.
Well, actually, Adam Adam O'Brien actually explained that today. He came out and said he needs a rest. His body is just gone.
Yeah, it's something completely different. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, Brody Jones.
Brody Jones. So supposedly he was the captain of the New South Wales team since he was 14 or 15. So he played for New South Wales when he was 15 in the under-16s and was their captain. So they reckon he's got a pretty decent leadership potential. He's a country boy. He's a bull rider. So you reckon he's tough as anything. And
He's already got no teeth. Perfect.
Yeah. But in saying that too, kind of reminds me of Josh Jackson. So he's not overly you got your big rangy second rows. Kind of reminds me of him. So we'll see how that goes. But, he's going to be around for a long time because of the raps on him. We'll see if he can hold his own over the years.
Okay, so I'm not going to... So it pretty much looks like a hard-working young forward who is going to complement your Fitzgibbon and your who am I missing? Barnett, the aggression and the ball playing, and then we'll benefit from guys like Frizzell next year, obviously Clemmer.
Yeah,
not a bad spot to be in.
Look, they put him on kick out in his first ever game. He let one in, which a lot of second rowers have been. Yeah, it's happened to a lot of people with kick out, but I reckon he defended him pretty well the whole game. No more tries anyway. And then you got Shibazaki, Randall, Lino, and Solo coming off the bench. So I doubt any of them are going to get a crack.
I'm not going to repay the favour here. Sorry, Jared. I'm tipping Canberra in this one, but I think it's going to be a damn entertaining game.
Yeah, it's going to be good if Newcastle bring the same attitude. Like, the biggest question mark they had over last week was, can they do that over a whole season?
I think they'll come out of that game feeling better than Penrith will. So.
Oh, yeah. So I'm picking Newcastle out of loyalty, but I have my doubts.
All right, cool. We're going to get through this one a bit quicker just because our guests are waiting in the waiting room here. But we still have to give this game justice as we've done for all the rest. So last game on Sunday, the 6:30 game is Titans versus Tigers. Now, Titans, we knew last week, tried some new stuff, or Holbrook did with his selections. Injuries put an end to that before the game, so he's tried again. Tyrone Roberts has been named at fullback with Philip Sammy and Brian Kelly on the wings. Tyrone Peachy and Dale Copley in the centres. I'd be switching Copley and Kelly, but anyway. Ash Taylor and Jamal Fogarty, who in a beaten side last week, I thought played not too bad for his debut. Fodawaker, who was cracking last week. Aaron Clark has been brought off the bench into the starting hooker role with neither Nathan Peats nor Mitch Rain on the bench, nor in the reserves.
You brought it up last week about when Nathan Peats threw that forward pass and let a penalty.
That's it.
What?
No, that's what I said. Holbrook said that's it.
Yeah. Justin Holbrook nearly jumped through the fucking window and strangled him on the field. So I'm surprised. Yeah, I'll be surprised if he was there too. Mitch Rain mustn't be impressing him in training because he's not even on the reserves. Sam Lasoni, I said that one. Kevin Proctor, Keegan Hitgrave, Jai Arrow, who was monstrous last week. That's a good back row, yeah. Tanner Boyd gets his crack off the interchange. He's good at this.
Too young. He's a hooker, yeah?
No, he's a halfback.
Halfback, sorry.
Got a very good kicking game too.
Jamin Jolliffe back into onto the bench. Bryce Cartwright and young Tonamapia. Welcome back to the NRL.
Another outsider.
So from last week, a completely new interchange, a new hooker. Tyron Roberts back in. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? Listen to this for a reserves. Jared Wallace, Origin player. Anthony Don, leading try scorer for the club, I believe. Jonas Pearson and Jai Whitbread. And actually, I'm just going to read the West Tigers reserves. Josh Reynolds, Matt Eisenhuth, Corey Thompson, and Michael Cheekham. So you're looking at 8.
So they can make a team.
You're looking at 8 NRL regulars from last season in the reserves, not even on benches. Adam Dewey at fullback, Norfoluma, who was freakish again last week, with Robert Jennings on the wings, Leilua and Mbai in the centres, Marshall and Brooks in the halves. LOI and Michaeli in the starting props. Harry Grant in the hooker. Luke Garner, Luciano Leilua, Alex Twal are your second rows and lock, with Oliver Clark, Billy Walters, Chris Lawrence and Alex Seyfarth on the interchange. Now, I see a lot of points in this game. I don't see a lot of defense. I do see the Tigers winning based off their performance last week, but damn, I hope the Titans put in a good show.
Yeah, I don't see Titans coming close here.
No. Corey Thompson is in to the reserves last week. He wasn't even there last week, so who knows what may happen there.
Well, they reckon he's gone to Gold Coast.
Oh, really? All right.
They reckon Corey Thompson's gone to Gold Coast.
Okay, so I think all our tips have been the same so far except for Canberra and Newcastle. Now, we're going to do what all the professionals do, and that's going to be admitting two guests who've never been on a live podcast before, bring them straight in without an introduction. So let's see how this goes. Please welcome to the show. We have James Hazard Downs and Nick Wally Wallace. So
guys, what we've done tonight is Nick Wallace is a diehard St. George fan.
Yep.
And James Downs Hazard is the Bulldogs fan. So, did I say Nick Wallace is a Bulldogs fan?
No, you said Nick Wallace is a diehard St. George fan.
Okay, and, so we wanted to bring them in because there is so much happening at each club, and we want a fan's opinion of what's going on at those individual clubs.
So you finish off, Jared?
So they're struggling to get video on here, but when they do, we're going to ask some pretty decent questions of what they believe is going on. So
I believe they're both on their phones. There's Wally, jersey on, and there's Hazard. Oh. Yeah, there they go, boys. Oh, what's going on here? We've all got it. We've all got it. Love it.
I've been looking for too long, boys.
Hazard's actually looks like it's photoshopped on there, eh? I'm expecting you to move your head sideways and your beard's just going to stay on the screen.
Mine's too patchy to be photoshopped.
All natural?
All natural, mate. Better than yours.
Oh, here we go.
Brings the heavy hitting straight away. So, before you guys came on, we said we did the proper live thing. Bring two people that haven't been on a podcast before and don't actually stop recording. So it's been recording the whole time.
Super classy.
I don't know if you actually heard what Jared said, but we're thinking we'll run through the two teams. Then we were going to kind of give some background, a rundown on the position that each club's in. And obviously, if we get anything wrong, you guys jump in as the fans of the clubs. But then the main thing is to get your opinions of where the clubs are at, leading A into this matchup, and then B, maybe what the rest of the season's going to look like for you guys. What do you reckon?
I can see Wally.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, Wally's already holding it. I can see it. He's just
he's fucking.
I've been shilling for weeks, boys.
All right. So, actually, you know what? We'll do the background first because then we can get into the teams and you can do your comparison. All right. So, the reason why we did this, you've got St. George and Bulldogs both sitting 0-3 for the season. Both with talk in the media this week with regards to the future of the club coaches, with regards to the roster, with regards to the playing style. And it's a rare sort of perfect storm here with two clubs in a similar position but have got there from completely different set of circumstances. So
yeah, what I found was funny was, no offense to you, Haz, but you don't have an overly talented team roster. as far as NRL goes.
For a second, it's been pretty tough the last 2 years, but starting to get a couple of recruits in. It's been a tough couple of years, but
So with the Dogs, you've got probably not the most talented roster, and the coach about to get hooked after what he's got about 3 games left, or is that McGregor? And then you got the Dragons on the other hand, who's got 5 or 6 Origin players, few internationals in there, and it's just they're in the same boat with completely opposite ends of the roster. So we're trying to figure out what's actually going on between both teams. It's really it's a good comparison, really, what can happen in the NRL. with how everything's going.
So
I think
so you go, Well.
I was just going to say, like, it's the difference between the two teams at the moment is I think the Dogs are rocking up each week and they're busting their ass because, you know, they're not the most talented people in the world, whereas we're slightly overrated. I don't know what we're doing, but we've got a talented team on paper, but something's just not working at the moment. And the people that are struggling are the ones that are, you know, our well-paid and renowned stars.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Wally's come out and said they're not just non-talented players, they're not talented people. So that was just sorry,
They are
Bulldogs.
Dogs after all.
So I was just going to go. I was going to
ask
Bulldogs.
Okay, you go Bulldogs. I want to tee off on Wall about
Okay, cool.
a few players.
So just for the rest of our listeners, you correct me if I'm wrong here, Has, just a lead up to how the Bulldogs got to where they are right now. So we know that they're in a salary cap mess till 2021. So the previous regime, the previous board of the Bulldogs, operated believing the salary cap was going to go up to 10 mil. It only went up to 9.4. That led to 7 to 10 players on back-ended contracts this year, including some who don't even play for the club anymore, and Sam Cassiano and James Graham, who the Bulldogs are still playing to play for other. They are still paying to play for other clubs.
Correct.
There's still another half dozen players who have contracts whose wages increase at the same percentage rise as the salary cap. So as the salary cap rises, their wages are also going to rise to the same percentage. So again, tying them. What that has led to is limited talent plus the losses of players like Clemmer, Mbai to try and free up space. Add on to that the loss of Okunbor and Corey Hawera-Naira, who they got on the cheap to try and fill some holes. And you've got a very a roster lacking in X-factor talent, playmaking skills, game control, and
Experience, just in general.
Experience outside of Josh Jackson and Will Hopewadi. And that's it. So that's
like.
Have I missed anything there, Has? That's pretty much what's got the Bulldogs to where they are.
You're bang on the market there, Adam.
I did my research. Yes.
Last 2.5 years, you said it straight off the bat, like back-ended contracts. It's just proven to be so much of a shambles. Trying to hold on to this talent in the hope that one day it might have led to a premiership, but it backfired completely. And with all that money going towards all those players, that their deals have to be honoured. It has it's taken up all the money compared to teams like Melbourne, the Roosters, the Rabbitohs, Broncos, like Cowboys. They've managed to hold on to their key players and offered contracts for good money, and the Bulldogs just haven't been able to have that money. So in terms of recruitment, it's been very scarce the last 2 years. Definitely for this year, getting Stimson from the Storm, I thought
that was a good pickup.
That was a really good pickup from them, and personally from seeing Stemo play up on the sunny coast, I know what he could bring, and I thought when the news came out he was coming to the Bulldogs, I thought they're not gonna regret that choice. But unfortunately, he's now injured, so it's almost unfortunately, not gonna have him play again probably this year. So, but yeah, other than that, it's just been tough the last 2 years. The board did say when they got elected in 2018 that it would take 3 years minimum before they would be able to go
Do
out
anything.
and try and recruit players. Like, I mean, yeah. And now that they finally got everyone on a level playing field and they have the money behind, like you're hearing the reports like apparently Bateman, like there's talks the Bulldogs might be trying to get Bateman from Canberra. If that was to happen, then that could be like an after effect, and then you could get more players coming to the club. But yeah,
it's got to be. I think you just got to ride out the rest of this season and see what happens from there. We'll come back to Dean Pay, his performances, selections, but we'll bring Wally in and have a look at St George. Now, there's not much in the way of research here. They haven't had the salary cap dramas. They had their premiership. Wayne Bennett moved on after that. McGregor came in, and apart from one decent season, it's just been they probably paid overs for a couple of players, you would say, or haven't got the best out of the players they've recruited. But you're looking at that team, and like Jared said, you've got multiple Origin, multiple internationals, the complete opposite of the Bulldogs, almost a wealth of talent that some players can't even get into the side. What's going on over there?
I don't know where to start, mate. Like, I
he's
think
already reaching for the forehead and rubbing his arm and just like,
mate, these the widow picks are getting higher the more I watch them. Yeah, it's like you said, it's been since Bennett's left, mate. It's just been a mess. Like we've made the finals twice since 2011, I think, and both those years we just scraped in after, dominating the first half of the season. And I mean, I think this is McGregor's 7th year in charge. And
really?
I mean, seventh year in charge. We've made two final series, and 2018 was good. Like, made to the second week, we almost knocked off South, but I mean, it's just been a downward slope since then. And it's funny, me and my brother have a running joke. Obviously, my brother's a big Dragons fan as well, and we got a running joke that the players that have been coached by Mary the least are our best players. It seems to be that way. But you look at the players when they first come to our club, like Paul Vaughan when he first came, hit the ground running, and he's still playing well. But like Ben Hunt's first season there, great. Tarek Sims when he first came, he was great. And then the more Mary's influence comes into them, it just seems to be that they go downhill. I don't know. Maybe
we talked about Paul Vaughan last week, and I think Jared and I both agreed he was close to unstoppable at the Raiders, and he's, like we said, he's still good, but he didn't stay for that long.
Yeah, I think he's still trying his hardest. That's one thing. Like on the weekend, I've got to say, him and Frizz were probably our two forwards that actually had a crack. Oh, like Josh Kerr and that were pretty good, and Filimono in short stints. But I mean, we had two forwards. Like you look at our forward pack with the internationals and state players, we had two forwards crack 100 meters. Like our back five were the ones making all the meters, and it's just not good enough from who are missing all their prop forwards and everything like that. So it's just not good enough.
I got two questions when it goes to the Dragons. One, your big drop this week has been Matt Duffy. You touched earlier that you were critical of their effort, and he probably puts in every single game. Are you pissed off about Matt Duffy getting dropped?
No. I think Matt Duffy is he's fast. He's got a little bit of X factor, but I tell you what, the little things are the things that he does. So his kick diffusing is just not good. The amount of bombs and scrubbers. Yeah. Well, I mean, good for Supercoach, but
he does have a crack.
Defense, only with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't know. I just feel like he's not the fullback we need because one, he's not safe, and two, I just like. Every kick start, he runs it up and he weighs 70 kilos ringing wet and gets driven back 10 meters. And like, how are you it's not a good way to start your set. You look at like the good teams where you got your Roger Tuivasa, Sheck. I know I'm not going to put him in the same category. He's on like pennies compared to them, but the good teams, their fullbacks are generally getting them on the front foot from the start. And, you know, like look at Tom Trbojevic, his involvement's unbelievable. And then, I don't know. I shouldn't be comparing the two when, you know, one's getting paid $1 million a year and the other one's on chump change. But
they're both wearing the same number on their back, so it is a decent comparison.
Ooh, Jared, the wise man.
Dang it. The next question I've got is the whole coaching circus that you guys got going on over there. So what they give McGregor 3 weeks, right?
So they reckon he's got 2 more games to save his job.
Yeah. Okay, so they got 2 more games. So you've got a premiership winning coach as your assistant coach that the NRL may or may not let release the chance of coaching. So if they don't do that, and when he went to the Dragons, I assumed he was next in line when his ban ended. Would you rather them bring in a coach for the next year, like a caretaker coach, someone like Dean Young bring up, or would you rather him buy a coach who, one of the like Craig Fitzgibbon or the Sean Wayne from England or someone who's already got the experience behind him? What do you think is going to play out, and what would you rather happen play out?
So can I just clarify there, Jared, that are you talking about bring a caretaker in, so fire McGregor, bring a caretaker into the rest of this season, and then Flanagan take over? Or bring someone completely new in from now to go? Or keep McGregor till the end of the year with Flanagan to take over next year?
It's just really interesting what you want to do in the short term compared to the long term.
Yeah, right.
So what would you rather?
It's a good question. I think we're at that point as a club where we need an experienced coach. We can't, like, we've had, since Bennett, we've brought in Steve Price, who was his first full-time coaching job, and we all know how that went. And then Mary's come in and taken over, and like he initially had a good season, and then it's just sort of been downhill since then. So I don't know. With the squad that we've got there, I would love someone like Wayne Bennett to come back. Even though I think he's probably slightly past it, but I mean, we need someone that can get the best out of each player individually, and so they know their roles. I think someone like that. Yeah, Shane Flanagan. Honestly, if he was available, I'd be sacking Mary on the spot and putting him in. Like he's just like, you look at the way the Sharks played. They were gritty, they were tough, and they played for each other. Like, whether you like their brand of football or not, they won games under him, and I think that's what we're lacking. Like when you look in 2018, when we were probably at our best under McGregor, we were hunting as a pack. Like our pack was just side by side, and I think the biggest thing that's impacted us has been Jack DeBellin going.
Oh yeah,
like he was our most important player in defence and attack. I mean, he's still our best player at our club. He hasn't played for 2 years, and he's still carving them up at training, judging from the B team results.
Well, in saying that too, Paul Vaughan's pretty dangerous at training. He's not ideal on the game day, but he tries to knock out his own teammates at training.
Yeah, well, that's it. Nothing like getting him ready for first grade.
All right.
Did you see
Adam Clune's face?
Very Cooper Cronk-esque.
We're gonna get to that when we do the team list. I'm just gonna just get things moving along. I'm just gonna give you a list of names. I think Jared already given you a hint to this earlier. This can be for Hazard and Wally. So I'm just going to give you a list of St. George Dragons. Just find the common link between these players. Ewan Aitken, Adam Clune, Jack DeBellin, Jackson Ford, James Graham, Jacob Host, Josh Kerr, Isaac Luke, Tim Laffey, Michaela Ravalawa, and Tristan Saylor. What's the common link between all of those guys?
They all off contract?
Yep.
Holy shit.
I think Jackson Ford's just re-signed for 2 years, but yeah, I mean...
Oh, okay. Josh Kerr does have a player option, but the rest... So if Ford, all right, I'll take that off. You're down to 10 who are off contract. And out of those 10, everyone has played first grade bar Clune and Saylor. Has he?
No, he hasn't played. He played 9.
They haven't played this season.
He played 9s, that's right, yeah. So, whoo! Anyway,
Yeah,
that's for another time. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'll run through your selections for this week, and then I've got a question for both of you with regards to selections and looking into your coaches. So,
we're going back to coaches later. I can jump on. I got one.
Yeah. So Bulldogs this week. This is for the Monday night game. It's the only Monday night game this week, and then there's none next week, so it must just be a scheduling thing. Oh, Bankwest.
It's a banger of a game.
Oh yeah. So we've got Dallin Zalesniak at fullback with Nick Meaney and Christian Crichton on the wings. Remius Smith and Will Hopewadi in the centres. Kieran Foran is named to make his return with Lachlan Lewis in the halves. Aiden Tolman, Jeremy Marshall-King and Dylan Napa there in the front row. Josh Jackson and Dean Britt in the second row with Adam Elliott at lock. Jake Avarillo, Renoff Tumanga, Raven, Fatala Mariner and Sawaso Sue on the interchange. So again, another utility back there with Afeki Odgen, Kerrod Holland, Sione Cato and Brandon Wakeman in the reserves for the Bulldogs. Hazard.
You happy with that, mate?
Talking about with Dean Pay, he's on thin ice, but unlike McGregor, he's been handcuffed to a roster, which is pretty hard to get a lot out of. But taking that as it is, Jared and I have talked, I think, multiple times about the makeup of this team and changes we would make of people looking from outside, not Bulldogs fans. What do you think of your, I guess, consistent starting 13 that's been trotted out there, and what sort of changes would you be making if you had the choice?
Oh, on the paper, you think with a back line like that, like DWZ plays for New Zealand. You have Will Hopewadi, who's showed a lot over his career, like won a premiership, obviously with Manly 2011, and he's always been up there. And you have Kieran Four in the halves. You think with players like that, the team would be going a little bit better with all that. But I think putting Raymond Smith in the centres, that's about the only one that I'm not too sure on. To me, I personally feel like he should be on the wing, but then, who do you take out? Meaney, he's been good in some areas, but I think for him, he either has to play fullback, but I mean, you can't. It's a tough situation, but I just think, with Meaney on the wing, he can't utilise his skills. He was brought to the club to be a fullback, and he got that early run last year before they signed Watene Zalesniak.
Do you honestly think Nick Meaney or Christian Crichton are up to NRL standard? Or are they there out of necessity?
Between the two, I think Meaney, he's probably the one between the two that I think could be up to NRL standard. Like for Crichton, there just seems to be times when he gets caught in no man's land, I feel. And so I personally sent him back for a couple of weeks.
What are you going to say, send him back to Newcastle? I was going to say no.
I'm just looking at your reserves at the moment, right? Not your bench, the actual reserves. So you've got this week interchange. You've got a kid there, Jake Avarillo. Now he's had three games this year, all off the interchange, and every time he's come on, he's looked like someone who can make something happen. He scored the try last week against Manly off that Lewis Grubber. He's got speed to burn by the look of it. He's got footwork. He doesn't have a lot of size, but for a team struggling to score points, what would Dean Pay be losing by slotting him in at centre? So if you had Hopper Whitey on one side, Averillo on the other, and shift your Remus Smith to wing or something like that.
I think you'd lose a lot of tackles.
Yeah, but they're letting in
Probably.
points anyway. It's scoring points that they struggle.
Yeah.
Like, definitely from Averillo. I thought, you hit the nail on the head there. He's as soon as he came off the bench, he injected a lot more into the team, and when he scored that try, everyone could see he had speed to burn and that. So, I think, if he keeps improving in the next couple of weeks or so, I'd almost be prepared to give him a start somewhere. Between the two, I'd probably, I'd move Ramus out to the wing. Drop Crichton and bring Averillo into the centres, and if it comes to it, if he can't handle it, then what to do? Maybe have bring Meany in a couple of times into centre, and just switch between that side of the field, centre to win if Averillo gets a little bit caught out. But I mean, if he doesn't let it down, then stick him out at centre. I think he could definitely cause a couple of headaches with his speed.
I'm going to throw this one out there to all three of you as well. Just last question here with regards to Bulldogs lineup. They've signed Sione Katoa from Penrith, who's on the reserves, and you've also got Brandon Wakeman on the reserves, who again I believe came on in round 1, and they slot him at centre, and he looked quite good. Sorry, not at centre. They benched Lachlan Lewis at half time and brought Wakeham on into the halves. My proposal would be Kieran Foran's had so much time off injured. He's on so much money. You want him on the field as much as possible. Kieran's main strength is a running game, which is also Brandon Wakeman's. I'd be bringing Wakeman into a starting half role as the running half and have Foran control the game, and bringing Sione Katoa on at least to the interchange, if not starting hooker, and having Marshall King as a utility on the bench. To me, that has Averillo, Wakeham, and at least in the starting line with Katoa and Marshall King. You're lacking in size, but at least you're putting points into that team. Hopefully. Thoughts on those changes?
I'm not set on having Marshall King in the team really anywhere. I think they've got better utilities than him.
I've got to say, I've come around to Marshall King. Like his running game out of dummy half is actually pretty handy. Like as far as his other stuff goes, I don't think he's an 80-minute hooker. Let me put it that way. But I think possibly having him as that bench utility is probably a better option.
Because you got Sione Katoa as a running dummy half as well, but that only kind of works if you've got running forwards, and you're looking at Dean Britt, Josh Jackson. They're not the sort of players who are going to run dummy half. Whereas you've got Munga and Raymond Fatala-Mariner on the interchange who are.
Yeah.
So.
I reckon Katoa coming off the bench with Fatala-Mariner. Fatala-Mariner was good when he came on last week. He actually put some dint in the line. I think he got a couple of 6-tackle sets, and he's just that different frame going into the line, which I think the Dogs lack.
Well, yeah, so they've got Dean Britt starting, which he's Dean Britt starting, which Nick said Matt Duffy was 70 kilos ringing wet. Dean Britt was now much bigger at second row. He doesn't miss many tackles, but Curtis Sirenan ran roughshod over him the other night. He's gone up against Tarek Sims, or which one will be? He's on the left-hand side. Who's your right-hand second row?
That's Tarek.
Tarek
Yeah.
So he's going up against Tarek Sims on the weekend. Holy shit. Tarek Sims is going to be licking his lips seeing that across from him. But I reckon bringing Raymond Fatala-Mariner versus Tarek Sims will be a pretty good battle all night. They're both, up-in-your-face aggressive players, but Dean Page seems to put his forward pack, when you look at it, other than Dylan Nupper, is a very defensive-minded forward pack.
His forward pack looks like his face when he's up in the coaching box.
Old and grey.
That's what his forward. That's like. It just looks like a sad, boring.
Yeah, no, there's no and
sorry,
Hazard, I want to throw this to you. Are you disappointed? You got Dylan Nupper, who's a Queensland prop. Are you disappointed with what he's brought to that team, or do you think he can't do much more just because of the fact of who he's surrounded with?
Definitely between it all, we all know what Napa was like when he was at the Roosters, firebrand and all that. He brought aggression. That I think in that department, he's gone a little bit soft there. Like for whatever reason, I just haven't seen the Dylan Napa that we all know what he's like. When he's fired on, I remember a couple of years ago, he took on the Burgess boys and took them to school. When it was revealed he was coming to the Bulldogs, I thought, oh, you beauty. Since he's come now, he doesn't seem like the same sort of player that he was at the Roosters.
Alrighty, so Hazard's given us his rundown on his Bulldogs team. So we'll read out the Dragons team for this week. So some changes here by McGregor. Corey Norman's been shifted to fullback at the expense of Matt Duffy, who's dropped out of the 17 altogether. He's listed on the reserves. Jordan Pereira and Ravalawa on the wings, with Braden Williami and Zach Lomax in the centres. Ben Hunt moves to 5'8" to accommodate Adam Clune, named to make his debut despite suffering a broken nose against Paul Vaughan at training. Jesus, if you're going to run into anyone, probably not him. Could have been his ass, could have been his shoulder. You wouldn't tell the difference.
Could be worse. Could have been Nate Miles.
Yeah, Josh Kerr at starting prop with Paul Vaughan. Cam McInnes after his 74 tackle effort last week at hooker. Tyson Frizzell, Tariq Sims in the back row with James Graham at lock. Trent Merrin onto the bench this week with Blake Laurie, Isaac Luke, and then Ewan Aitken. So a kind of...
Can you start with the bench, Wall? Because I don't understand it.
It's kind of...
Can you start with that, please?
It's a weird looking bench, and one that... And then looking at the reserves, one that's really had me scratching my head, considering I was shouting for him for round one, is Tyrell Fui Mayono.
Yeah.
Bloody moving to reserves.
What's the go?
Jacob. It's like Jackson Ford, you've re-signed for 2 years. You can go on the reserves.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, how about we start with Adam Clune? Debut.
Yeah, can you give us a rundown on Adam Clune?
He's got a cool first name, but apart from that, I don't know.
See, that's what I was questionable about.
Great.
I really like that in his eyes up footy. I watched a bit of him in the Canterbury Cup last year. I saw him in the Nines, a bit in the Charity Shield. He's just not afraid to throw the ball around. Actually, I think it was in the trial game against Newcastle, Jared. I'm not sure if you remember, because that's probably where our season peaked. But he came on in the second half and just laid on 4 tries.
We had a third grade team on the second half, but you know.
Well, that was our B team, and you know our B team's our best team.
Oh, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, last year I think he got halfback of the year in Canterbury Cup. And I was looking at his stats earlier, 28 try assists, 27 line break assists. Just looks like he's just a footballer, which is good to see. I mean, if anything, that's what we need in our halves at the moment. They're just going in slow motion and side to side. So especially with I think he's got a bit of acceleration. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him in open space, but he looks like he takes the line on at pace, which is good to see rather than, hopefully assuming like with his try assist areas in last year, you'd hope that he has a half decent kicking game as well. So that'd be nice to take that burden off Ben Hunt.
Yeah. Are you happy with Corey Norman's performance recently?
Start of last season I was. I don't know what to do. It's just almost like the bloke's cursed, eh? Like he when he went to Parramatta to start with, he killed it and then just sort of fell away. And then it's just like the same thing's happening here. It just, I don't know, he just seems to go through the motions on the field. And I think it was Nathan Brown said that he's just, I think he described him as a cool cat. Like he just doesn't want to take ownership of everything. He just sort of just cruises around like it doesn't even matter to him. So
where would you pick him? Where do you see him as a player?
Me and Adam were talking about I prefer him at fullback. I reckon he's a better fullback than 6. But
and that's not
it's a tough one. I always wanted him to be 5'8", but then after the first 3 weeks with him and Hunt, I'm like, I think we have to bring Clune in, and to do that, one of them has to move, and I think it's got to be Norman, either to fullback or out of the team. And I think Dufty seems like, not that I'm a massive fan of Dufty, but Dufty seems to be Mary's scapegoat each time.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. Every time that someone else comes in, And honestly, after last week, I was sort of like, Clune needs to come in. I'm like, we need either Norman or Sailor at fullback, I think.
And Sailor's an out-and-out fullback? That's his position?
It's his preferred position. I mean, he's...
Dragons have him listed as 5'8".
I think he played a little bit of 5'8" and like outside backs in reserve grade, but like if he's going to be anything, I think he's the fullback. I don't think he's big enough to sort of be in the front line.
Who's we haven't talked about him since we've started the show in January. There was an up-and-coming half at St George who they believe is the best homegrown talent since...
Jaden Sullivan.
Yeah. Anything
well,
I think he's
only... I think he's only 18, 19.
Okay.
But yeah, they've got big raps on him, but I think he's similar boat to Sailor, a bit too small at this stage. And
you probably don't want him around this...
No, but the season's already sinking. Yeah. But can I just say about Fuimono, honestly, he was our best player over those first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, hands down. He got 20 minutes last week, and I don't know what Mary was thinking. Like, the game's over. He finally brings him on the field. He played Ewan Aiken more minutes off the bench. I'm just like... then he drops it.
What was the first round? He got put into the centres.
And that's exactly right.
Yeah, he was your biggest attack out in the centres that game. He had brought so much enthusiasm onto the field. And then the second game, because Tarek Sims was out, they put him on the starting second row. And
I think he made like 2 line breaks against Penrith.
And he was up against Kickow as well and was running through him as well.
And he whacks in defence. Like, I don't get it. I really
Is it because he's got so much hair and McGregor doesn't?
I don't know. It's a possibility. It's the only thing I can put it down to.
So back to the bench. Give me an explanation on that bench that you can think of, because you got Isaac Luke, who's probably... he didn't do a bad job with McInnes out, but McInnes makes 70 tackles in the game. He's an 80-minute hooker. Why do they think they need Luke? Maybe it's an attacking.
And the other thing...
it's to move McInnes into the middle. I can handle Luke on the bench. I think you'll see a lot of teams will go with the 2 hookers.
He's looked fine.
My biggest issue is Ewan Aitken. I'm just like, what is he doing there? Isn't it like you put Fuimono there? Fuimono can play outside backs. He's played centre in first grade. He's played back row. Like, he is your utility. I just don't see it. I don't see the reason as to why Aitken's there. It's just a waste, an absolute waste.
It was interesting earlier in the season or pre-season. They were talking about St George offering that 3-year deal to Moses Sully, with you and Aitken going the other way to Manly. And I was like, deep down, I didn't see him going because Hasler's like Bellamy getting the most out of players that other people haven't. You could see Sully progressing and progressing. I'm like, I don't want the freaking Dragons to get him once we get into a decent spot. And then he re-signs today for less money. And I think that kind of shows where his head's at. Like, both teams have arguably as much talent as each other in different spots. But the fact he's choosing a shorter deal on less money, it's not a good look.
No.
Yeah,
you can't blame him either, can you?
No, I 100% agree with Fui Mayono as well. I picked him up for my fantasy team this year after watching the preseason going, there's no way he's not going to get 50 minutes a game the way he's looking. And just linking him, when you guys started talking about him and how he's playing, linking him to the off-contract list, Jared and I were saying, and you've already made the point, Canterbury's rocking up, busting their butt, but they remind me of my ice hockey team. I knew they were going to come last this year or second last because we just don't have any talent. Out of our 18 players, we've got 4 who would make any other NHL team. The rest are just guys, and they're there trying their hardest, but they're just not good enough. You look at St. George, we're saying, what's the excuse? Are they just not playing for the coach? But then we're like, there's got freaking 11 players off contract. If they're not playing for their coach, they're playing for the next contract. Fui Mayono is the only one playing for their contract, and he's not even on that freaking list.
Yeah, I mean, the players have to take some accountability, but when it's been going on for such a long time, you can't help but point the finger at the person in charge of it all.
Oh, I know.
And I mean, I've been pointing the finger at him for a long time.
You look at the last point there. Go back 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Say that list was coming off contract 2 years ago. How many clubs would be lining up for Aitken, James Graham, Host, Tim Laffey?
Yeah.
Everyone. I haven't even heard a whisper of any club sniffing around for him.
Well, exactly.
It's horrible.
I mean, Aitken.
He's New South Wales. He could play for.
Yeah, I think he's a very one-dimensional player. He's just got to run the ball. He can't pass. His defense or his reads in defense are pretty suspect. And then you got Tim Laffey, who's I've never met someone who's got such good feet but has no speed. It amazes me. And James Graham, honestly, he needs to retire. Like the last 18 months, obviously the guy's busted his backside his whole career, and I think it's caught up with him. Like he's just no threat anymore. I mean, he runs up to the line and just falls over essentially, and
he's got that occasional pass in him, which is an extra layer of attack.
But the defensive line just hangs off him though, because they're not worried about him breaking the line. He's catching 2 meters down the track.
I've got other things I wanted to ask about. We're kind of running short on time. The only player I've heard that clubs are sniffing around is Jason Saab, who's put on 10 kilos or 9 kilos or something, considering in this break, and looks pretty decent. I haven't even heard his name get thrown up for selection, so it'll be interesting to see.
Well, I mean, when you got household names like Mika Ravalawa and Jordan Pereira on the wing.
Jason Saab just sounds so boring.
I got one question. So pre-season, and I went on a bit of a rant about this earlier in the year. Pre-season, Mary McGregor was throwing out that Zach Lomax is going to start at fullback. What did he last one game?
Yeah.
So is that based on Lomax's talent or McGregor not sticking to what he's going to say? Because supposedly he trained all pre-season. And then he got moved to the wing, and then now he's playing in the centres. So what do you reckon about that, and do you rate Lomax?
I rate him as a centre. I think he just needs to be put at centre and stay at centre. Yeah. But in saying that, you've given a bloke a whole pre-season to train at fullback, and he didn't have a great game round one. It wasn't pretty, but he's 21, 22, if that, and just give a bloke a run. And I think it was sort of we lost Ravalawa round 1, and then I think just the easiest thing was to just shift Lomax to the wing. But once again, he's another one that Mary just loves to shift. Like, I don't think he's played a consecutive game in one position apart from wing, and he's not a winger. Like, it's just, you just need to give a young bloke a run in a particular position and just back him.
Yeah, well, it was so surprising because all preseason, that's all you heard coming out of Dragons. Lomax fullback. He's been trained there. There's video of him doing it, and then one game, and I'm like, I was just sitting there, just like, what the hell's going on?
The same thing happened with Kurt Mann a few years ago, though. Like, he was our, saved for a fullback, and he lasted 2 games and then got punted.
Yeah, it's just...
So we've got one last one to finish on. That's actually been a really good convo because you guys are giving us an insight. I guess we're along the same lines, but there's a lot more disappointment in your faces than ours. But believe me, it was like Manly a couple of years ago, the whole Barrett experiment, and every club goes through it.
We talked about it last podcast. Newcastle were where Bulldogs are 5 years ago.
Every club goes through it. So
unless you're Brisbane.
Yeah. Sorry?
Unless you they still haven't won they've been going. They haven't won since 06. Like,
but they've made finals for God knows how long. Like, for them,
finals, schminals. We know it's grand final or wooden spoon. They're the only 2 trophies. All right, so I'm going to throw some names at both of you. All these balls go into a freaking Powerball thing. Which one do you want to come out? Which one do you want to come out for your team? So these are coaches: Brad Fittler, Craig Fitzgibbon, Nathan Brown, Shane Flanagan, Jason Riles, John Cartwright, the Walker brothers, or Sean Wayne from Leeds, or other. What ball do you want to come out for your club?
Can I ask with the other category? Is that like people off contract or people that are currently contracted but rumoured to be moving on?
Who would you love to go there?
Yeah, so
don't say Bennett.
The list that I did there is off contract, bar Fittler, who's obviously got the Origin commitments. But yeah, if there's a under contract coach with rumours that they will leave at the end of the season, I guess you can include them as well.
Oh, fucking...
I'll let Hazard go first.
Who would you want, know what you're going to say.
Oh, sorry, or are you going to stick with what you got?
Well, I will. This is the part that I have been waiting for. Was like I do think with Dean Pay, everyone knows when he came into the job, he inherited it. None or would have been keen to do, and I feel like for talk to be around him getting sacked, I think is how can you do that to a guy who has that couldn't
he had nothing to work with, and what do you expect of him? Is that kind of what you're saying?
You can't knock a guy away when he's busting his gut. Like, he wants results, but he doesn't have the talent to do it. And I want him to stay there full time. I want it, try him when they're well on the playing level field, and we get players coming in. From that point on, when the Bulldogs have a team that they can go, they can recruit, judge him from there. He has inherited a job very tough. If in any event he gets the sack, I sincerely hope it doesn't happen. But if it didn't, Sean Wayne, he's definitely one I would like to see. He's got a no-nonsense attitude, and for a club like the Bulldogs, with the history that they've had, I think he'll benefit from it. But another one I'll talk about is the guy who coached the Falcons last year. He's now down at Newcastle as the developmental coach, Eric Smith. I mean, it was his first season in Intrust Super Cup. Before that, he was Bellamy's right-hand man. he was in the Melbourne system, like he was the Melbourne under-20s coach. So, like, he's had that hard nonsense approach. Like, he gets results done.
Cool.
Back off has it his mind.
Yeah, Eric Smith,
Top priority.
like, if it came between the two, I really hope Dean Pay gets a chance to prove himself and let people judge him when he has a team he can work with without any constraints.
That's the same answer I would have given Haz. It's the same position the MIS hockey team's in. 7 losing seasons in a row. The coach has had a steadily worse team. He's never had a decent team, so they've kept him on for his last year to see what he can do maybe next year. What about you, Wally?
You're not allowed to have previous coaches in St. George.
What, including an assistant? Well, that rules out half the people because that's Nathan Brown gone as well.
I said Flanagan.
No, he's leaning towards Bennett.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, rumours are rumours, but I think with our roster, we need a coach that knows how to get the best out of them. And like you look back to 2008 when Buddy Brown was in charge, kept getting us to the top 8. We had a top 8 roster, but didn't know how to get to that next level. And then Bennett came and just got the best out of each individual. And you look at when Bennett first went to South, I mean, what did he take him a win from the grand final? Or no, maybe second weeks of the finals, I'm not sure.
He did the same thing at Newcastle too.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to leave us in a mess. So, but like, I just think, although that's probably reaching, if Flanagan is available, I think he's your best option. Because, I mean, you look at some of the options there, like Nathan Brown is literally, he's just there to clean the club out, essentially. He'd be perfect for the Dogs job, to be honest. Like, just that middleman that makes the tough decisions, isn't there to protect his record, and then gets the club into a position.
Yeah.
Another good one for that was Brian Smith.
Yeah.
He was always good at just getting them, cleaning the shit out, getting them to good, and then they'd end up turning on him. But if I was going to pick a coach that's fresh, I think you'd have to go with Fitzgibbon. Like, if you're going to give someone their first opportunity, like he's got the raps. He works for the New South Wales and the Roosters. I mean, what more can you ask for over the last few years?
All right, boys. I have to say,
touching on Brown quickly. I hope if Newcastle ever make the grand final, he's there as like a VIP, because I don't agree how they treated him, and he brought so many players to that Newcastle team. And then I understand Adam O'Brien changed their attitude from what they showed on the weekend, but with that, Nathan Brown bringing Clemmer, Pearce, Ponga.
Brown changed the attitude that Bennett left as well. So
Bennett's little head.
I have to say, boys, it was awesome having you on here, but at the same time, I'm completely disappointed that 2 of the teams that struggle to score points, neither of you mentioned the Walker brothers. Like, come on, seriously.
Oh,
disgusting.
They had one good year.
That's right.
Shut up.
One good year.
That we saw at the grand final after they won.
Yeah, they actually beat Newcastle in the reserve grade grand final.
Bring Bennett back. Bring back the penalty goals.
There we go. Thanks, thanks, Haz. Thanks, Wally, for jumping on. It's always good to have guest fans and first and foremost mates on to give us a hand. These 2 have been 2 of our biggest supporters the whole way through. So thanks, boys. And hopefully next time when you're on, it's under better circumstances for both of you. But at the same time, hopefully not at Manly or Newcastle's expense. All right,
if any of you want to take Mary off my hands, please do.
I am good.
No.
We'll sign off there, guys. We'll see you. We'll chat to you guys Monday morning after round 4. Oh, yeah, sorry. Best bet. I did have a look at one here. There was one head-to-head that I thought was pretty juicy value before we go away. The boys will totally not agree with me. I'm trying to freaking find it here. Come on.
Manly against Para?
No. Where is it?
I'm going.
Actually, no, Manly's at 225 against Para. That's not too bad. But no, there's another one here that was jumping out. Oh, screw it. I can't. Oh, there you go. Warriors, $2.80 Penrith, $1.44. So I'm
No.
looking at Warriors there at $2.80. I don't mind that after how the two teams played last week.
I'm going opposite of that. I'm going New Zealand Warriors 1 to 12 is $4.
Yeah, $4. I like that too.
And Warriors 13 plus is $7.50. That's
Yeah.
not bad considering how
a back-to-back draw. $19, Penrith and Warriors. I'm going Warriors 1 to 12, $4. I'm with Jared there.
Yeah, bloody hell, that's all right.
Let's lose some more money.
Would like to bet, but unfortunately, when you're in a position like I am at the Falcons, you can't do that. A little thing called inside knowledge.
Oh,
They're not even playing, has it?
They're not playing.
Still though, like Melbourne affiliation, like
has slide us inside info, and I'll say it's from an unknown source. It's all good. See you, dudes.
See you later.
Guys.
Thanks for coming
Bye.
on, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Six Again. Connect with the show on Twitter, Instagram, and the Six Again website. All links via the show's bio. Be sure to check out Adam's craft beer choice of the week.